All right, let's hear some fake trades.
All right, guys. So we had some conversations after Tuesday's show between Mike G and I, and I'm learning that I don't understand how trading in the NBA works at all anymore. So I went and put the trades together in the trade machines, and this is my first one. I'm going for Sabonis, and I'm sending Garland and Okoro to Sacramento. Now, my trade machine says the money works out. I don't think Sacramento would do this. But, Mike, tell me why or why not this wouldn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work. It's not cap compliant. The Cavs can't aggregate salary for another player unless the two aggregate salaries brought them beneath the second apron. So they'd have to drop about $17 million in that deal to get under the second apron to make that work. Sabonis makes, I think, $3.5 million more than Garland, so the difference in what they lose is what, $8 million? You sent me the Spotrac numbers this morning, Ant.
Let me pull it up 1 second.
But whatever the Spotrac numbers, it doesn't drop them low enough. Also, Sacramento just traded De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio to start building around Sabonis. I can't imagine that all of a sudden now trade Sabonis to build around Darius Garland. So not only does that trade not make sense, Ant, it is not cap compliant whatsoever.
Here's what I'll say about this. Now, the Kings ain't going nowhere anyway. Like, if you trade De'Aaron Fox and you build around Sabonis, if you thought you was going to do that with, what's his name? Dunk Boy?
Zach LaVine?
Zach LaVine. Dunk Boy. That's not going to get it off. Like, that is not what it is.
You'll sell tickets.
It's Sacramento. How many tickets they really moving?
That's about it.
It's Sacramento.
That's about it.
Now, here's the thing. Now, what would make that compliant was, now, if they had moved Dean Wade prior to that in another move.
Yes.
Dean Wade moved prior to that. Now,
what does that move look like, by the way?
Minimowski. I need to.
I don't even know.
It's a salary.
No, it's Dean.
Yes.
It's Dean Wade and like 3 second-round picks for 1 second-round pick.
Right. So, so then you get then this trade, I believe, makes you under the cap.
Well, no, then they'd be under the second apron.
And did you come up with this?
These are Ant's trades.
So we were talking about it. This was like I put it together, but we were all talking about it after the show, and I've seen a couple of people seeing if we could go for Sabonis on Twitter.
Now here's the conversation you have. How does that trade make the Cavs better?
It doesn't. I don't think it really does.
You would have to do it in conjunction with my next trade. Do you want to go to the next one, Mike?
Oh, wow. You got multiples.
Sure.
You're working deals.
So remember, the first one didn't work. It was not cap compliant. Let's see if the second one, in theory, is now cap compliant.
So this is not my favorite trade of the thing. But Jarrett Allen and Dean Wade go to the Hornets for Miles Bridges. You have your center in Sabonis and Evan. You go and get another small forward to replace Garland.
Yeah, it's not cap compliant at all. The Cavs are taking on more money here than they are in the first one. So once again, a second deal that doesn't work, but in theory, in a vacuum, if it could work. G, do you like Miles Bridges?
I don't know how much that moves the needle for
me. It doesn't move the needle for me. I mean, these to me feel like moves for move's sake.
Wait till you see the next one.
I need
the next one's awful, but it's the only one that actually works.
Well, yeah, but see, that's what Jason has been saying for months. The kind of deals that you're going to be able to make are not the kind of deals that are going to take the Cavs to the next level.
Now,
unless you found one, I'll look at it. When the DeAndre Hunter trade happened, remember, for 3 weeks before the trade deadline, we were saying there's no move out there. There's nothing. Nope. We parsed that a million ways to Sunday. Well, and then when the trade happened, we all sat here and went, "Wow, they pulled that off."
Now here's the problem I have, Mike. They keep saying the thing with DeAndre Hunter, right? They keep saying, "Oh, we made the DeAndre Hunter trade to get hold. We did this for length." Are they still going to continue to bring him off the bench?
I mean, I know you're fixated on who starts and not. Who starts doesn't really matter, G.
I don't believe that.
Doesn't really matter.
I don't believe that.
If he's playing 30 minutes a game and playing the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter, does it matter if he's in there for the start?
Yes, because if somebody else is getting eviscerated and getting picked on and they get hot. See, the thing, here's what I take for basketball. And maybe this just is my thought process about playoff basketball. In playoff basketball, you know what is death? Death is letting any player get hot. I don't care if they're a starter, a bench guy. If you let guys start seeing that ball go through the rim, they get a couple easy layups. They are a headache the rest of the game. And in turn, you got to get your offense started and you get hot.
And you got to try to cool hot player down.
That's it. So for me, look, if you're going to, the Cavs are much longer, they're bigger, They have a much better opportunity to put longer lengthy bodies on people if you start him. But I think there's some things that they could do to tweak. If you can't trade anybody, right? If you can't move anybody, I'm just thinking rationally. Hey, if you can't move anybody, why not tweak your lineup so that you can at least start off with a lineup that gives you better matchups than guys getting hunted on pick and rolls? That's just the way I think about it.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. But I think all of this trade talk, at the end of the day, we have to ask this question. I think we all agree on this. What element, if you just had to name one thing, is missing from this Cavs team? Why were they a paper champion that turned into a paper lion? Why?
Toughness.
Right?
Toughness.
So, if you're going to make a trade, you have to target toughness. Mm-hmm. That's it. We thought when the Hunter trade was made, we all sat here, we all loved it. We all said, oh, wow, he could be the X factor. He could be the guy. You know what difference he made in the playoffs? None. Because he gave us more of what we already had. You know, when you're topping your gas tank, you can't get any more gas in there than the tank will hold. We have shooters. What we don't have are enforcers, tough guys, anybody that strikes any kind of fear into the opposition. I watched that full, I'm sure you guys all watched it too. I just watched it for the first time all the way through the other day. Oh my God.
Incredible.
I mean, I had people sending it to me saying napalm, nuclear bomb.
It was worse.
Scorched
It was
earth.
worse than that. Worse than that.
And I just didn't have the time to sit down and watch all 13 minutes until a couple days ago. And when I watched it, I was just like, I don't know that there can be a more damning indictment of a team and of its collection of players.
From three former players.
That's why, Mike, that's what I kept saying was I'm watching this, I'm like, these dudes know Cleveland.
Yeah.
They know this town. And the irony of it is, if you go around to the United States, and I've done this in my travels around, and I'm always fascinated by this because most people get it way wrong. What's Ohio? What do you think Ohio's like? And Mike, you might have been like this before you came here. Bull will tell you that most New Yorkers think that everything west of the East River is a cornfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
And when I lived in the Northeast for 16 years, I would ask my coworkers and friends that most of them just spent time in the Northeast. I said, "What do you think of Ohio?" They're like, "Oh man, it's like you guys got a lot of flat land out there, a lot of cornfields, right?" Okay, accurate physically. Then I would say, "What do you think of people from Cleveland?" And you know, one of the words that would always come up is tough. Oh, you guys are Rust Belt people. You guys went into the steel mines. You guys do real work. You weld 6 days a week, and on Sunday, you don't rest. You go to the Browns game. That's who Clevelanders are. And I think that's pretty accurate. I think it's probably changed over the last 30 years because we've lost much of our grit industry.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think that's accurate. So what's ironic to me is when you ask outsiders describe Clevelanders, you guys are tough. Now go ask insiders in the NBA, people that know and love Cleveland, and say, oh my God, these guys are pansies. If they could have used it, they would have used the other P word. Like, they went that far. And I watched it, and I'm like, this is one of the most damning indictments I have ever seen.
And think about it. They've been saying it for 2 years. Who refuted it in the Cavs organization?
Who can? It's true, and everybody knows it.
And not only after you got beat by the Knicks doing that, I heard Jarrett Allen say we play ethical basketball.
What's that?
I said, bro,
it's a great line, though. It's a great line.
It is a great line, but that's not what you want to be known for.
It's not what you want to know, but it's a great line.
That's like gentlemen. We play gentlemanly basketball.
It's like somebody, look.
It's not golf.
Your guards, whoever's in charge, can you imagine saying that when Kobe was playing? If
Kobe would have demanded a trade,
he would have told
immediately, I can't play with this guy.
He bullied people.
What would Jordan have done?
Bullied people.
Jordan would have been in the general manager's office. He'd have told Jerry Krause that day, I can't play with this guy.
He can't play with him. I'm playing
can't
with you.
do it.
And you know what? The reality of the situation is he's not even the biggest issue. They got 5-6 other great guys on the roster. Dean Wade is the nicest guy. Okoro,
they're all nice.
Sam Merrill is.
So, that's why what I said was, if you're going to make a trade, if you're targeting a trade, everybody thinks, oh, we need superstars. We need, the players that are going to make a difference are the players that are going to bring to Cleveland what we currently lack. And that's toughness. Everybody agrees on that. So for me, before I really even want to consider a trade, the first question I have about the incoming is our guys afraid of him? Are guys is he going to change the chemistry and the way teams look at the Cavaliers?
So as it stands right now, the Cavs are going to be a second apron team, which means they're going to have the ability to sign a couple of veteran minimum free agents. Guys who have been around the league. This guy can't play anymore. He literally is a nothing on the court. But PJ Tucker's a guy. I have circled as I want him in that locker room to help.
I'll take him.
There's a few other guys.
How old is he?
Oh, he can't play. He literally.
I know.
But
what he brings is what we need.
Tristan Thompson-ish age, somewhere in that range. I don't have it off the top of my head. If you want to bring back one of the Morris brothers, I'd be in favor. I know he kind of burned some bridges on the way out, but I'd be in favor of bringing another guy like that until the full rosters and the season ends and you see guys kind of wash out from their contracts. We don't have the full veteran pool of guys to kind of pick and choose from, but they're going to be signing vet minimum guys. If you expect a vet minimum guy to come in and be a legitimate contributor to a rotation, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
There's a reason they're league vet minimum guys unless they're chasing a ring
and they're available
later in their career
and they're available. That's the key.
So I think with those contracts, Koby Altman and company have to be really selective. Take guys with the right mentality and attitude over, this guy may fit a little better than this guy, but does he have the toughness? Does he have the mental stability to impart some knowledge and some know-how into these younger guys?
The question, Mike, is, so if you're looking at the roster and you're going next to the name, you're saying, okay, well, what does Donovan Mitchell bring in playoff basketball? Well, he brings everything that you want.
Yeah.
I think he checks all the boxes. What does Darius Garland bring? He brings some things you want, and he lacks things that you need.
Yep.
But when you start getting into the Isaac Okoros and the Dean Wades, there's no boxes checked.
Yeah.
So those are the guys that have to go, and you need to bring in guys that check boxes for what you need in playoff basketball.
Let me ask you this question, because I find myself thinking about this a lot. Do you believe that we are, because this is what seems to happen in the offseason. Cavs don't show up. They don't do what they need to. They get out physical, lose in the second round. Fans say, guys, we got to fix this. We got to move some guys. We got to do some stuff. And we get to a point where we start talking about the trades, and then all of a sudden it dawns on us, hey, maybe these guys aren't as important or as talented as other people in the league because there aren't very many trade partners. Are we with the core four, because marketing is great, because we've marketed it that as four guys that are borderline all-stars or whatever the case may be? Do you think that we're just grossly over-evaluating their actual talent and value in the NBA?
But the league said that at one time or another these guys were all-stars.
Yeah, because
but what I'm saying is,
are we overestimating the importance of it? How many all-stars does Indiana have?
Like this year, just on the team.
Yeah.
None.
They did.
Halliburton
was an all-star. Siakam's been an all-star in the past.
So here's the reason I ask that is because your question is the right question. It's not, are we over-evaluating their skill sets? Because I do think that they probably are either all-stars or borderline all-star players. What we're overemphasizing is the importance of having four all-stars.
Right.
And to that point, I would say, look at a team like Indiana that's got a bunch of guys that know their roles. They play their roles well.
OKC is
and they play hard.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. And so, well, if you're Vegas and you're setting odds on a series and you got one team that's got four all-stars and another team that has two, you're inclined to say, give me the team that has four.
But I'm saying all-stars, when I'm dealing with people that is voting as fans, that's a popularity contest.
Right.
So all-stars aren't created. SGA is an all-star.
Can I give you the terminology you're looking for, G?
And you shouldn't have to ask if they're an all-star.
All-star is not a game changer. The Cavs have all-stars. Do they have enough game changers? Jarrett Allen's not a game changer.
Thank you.
He's an all-star caliber center because the NBA doesn't have a ton of centers. And
right.
Yep.
He's a solid NBA center. He's not a game changer.
And in the 82 games in which he deserves to be an all-star,
Donovan Mitchell is a game changer.
What he does.
Evan Mobley has shown flashes of being a game changer. He's not a night-to-night game changer
Not yet.
Next year, he needs to be a night-to-night game changer for the Cavs to reach their potential. And Darius Garland, once again, another flash guy. There are games where he is a game changer. There are games where he's a game changer in a bad way. A negative game changer. They need him to be a lot more consistent. The Cavs have one for sure and two ifs. To win a championship, I think you need at least two, probably three, and maybe even four.
Dang. Well, that didn't sound too
good.
Well,
if you have four, I think you're in the finals.
But like OKC has, like Alex Caruso, It's not an all-star.
You love him.
Defensive player.
but
It's kind of a game changer.
Yeah.
And him and Lou Dort combined
yeah.
equal one game changer with their defense.
Well, the irony
Who do the
is,
Cavs, real quick, actually,
Okay.
on the role players, right? Do the Cavs have any role player that has an individual skill set that can be a game changer?
Imani Bates.
I think Donovan Mitchell does. I think Donovan
No,
Mitchell does.
the role guys.
Oh, the role guys,
like a Caruso, Lou Dort, who has a
no,
game
and
changer.
don't even throw the Bates bomb in the room and then leave. but Mike,
You see what I'm saying, though?
I see what you're saying, and that's a fair question to ask. But what the Cavs accumulated this year, this is why it was so astonishing what they did. The Cavs had this collection of shooters, and they shot the ball at this ridiculous rate. And why did they get knocked out of the playoffs? Because they couldn't hit their threes. That was it.
Yeah.
That's it.
25.7% on wide open
And
threes.
so what we learned this year is it's like in football, you know what travels in football? Defense and ground game. They always say that. So when you're building your team, this is why Pittsburgh has been so good for so long. What does Pittsburgh build around? They want a great defense and they want a good ground game. Okay, that works. It travels. If you're using that analogy in the NBA, we can definitively say that for the Cavaliers, what didn't work, what didn't travel from the regular season to the playoffs was shooting. Why not? Teams get intense. Teams ratchet up their defense. So, not that you're going to deprioritize shooting because the NBA is still a shooting contest. That's what it is. You need guys that can shoot the ball with hands in face, not wide open. Because all these guys can make wide open threes. We saw that the Cavs could do that this year.
Except for the Cavs against Indiana.
Well, your line was the best line. I said, so why were they hitting wide open threes in the regular season, but they weren't hitting wide open threes in the playoffs? And your answer, and I had to trust you, you're the shooter, and you're right. It's because their legs got tired.
Dead legs.
And when I go back and think about the shots that they were missing, you see it more than I do, but they weren't elevating all the way on their jump shots.
They're short on everything.
And that's why everything was coming up short. So for me, if I'm Koby and I'm looking at, okay, you've got to make this a learning experience because the first two times we were bounced, we learned nothing from it. When the Knicks got us, when Boston got us, we learned nothing about it. We can't come back and be bounced a third straight time for a different reason and learn nothing by it. We've got to figure out, and I hope they do, and I think they do, but based on their comments, some of their comments, they're not going to come out and say, we're soft, we got to fix that.
Yeah.
But some of the comments that you can read between the lines, they wanted to come out and say, we got to get tougher. And that's what they have to do. And if they get tougher, and teams for the first time in recent memory, since LeBron left, actually fear playing Cleveland, Indiana wanted us.
No
and they got what they wanted.
Yes, you're right. No one feared Cleveland.
No one feared us.
Yeah.
No one feared us.